Good morning, wonderful people. You're welcome to another exciting edition of your favorite morning show, Lagos This Morning. Today being the 16th of May 2023. We saw Hilda yesterday breaking the world record for the cooking marathon exercise going up to 100 hours, and also Seun Kuti getting arrested by the Nigeria police force over an assault that happened day before yesterday. Before we go into the details of this event today, I'm Olajide Taufik Olamide, and I have with me here my ever wonderful co-host.
Good morning, viewer. You're welcome to Lagos This Morning. Of course, we have wonderful stories lined up to share with you today. Hope you're ready because we're about to take you on a smooth ride. I am Gladys Adoze. You're welcome.
Yeah, wonderful stories we have for you this beautiful morning. Let's take a look at the top stories quickly. I hope more youth will follow Hilda Bassi's footsteps. That's coming from President Muhammadu Buhari.
On assault, detained Seun Kuti may undergo drug test.
Deliver on campaign promises or be voted out. President Muhammadu Buhari tells governors-elect.
Resident doctors to begin 5-day warning strike on Wednesday.
The Nigerian Bar Association urges Tinubu to tackle widening brain drain.
Okonjo-Iweala tasks governments on alternative IGL, cautions against rising debt.
The federal government has approved 37 new private universities. Interesting news, interesting headlines. Let's take a look at the traffic updates around Lagos State today. Quickly going to Dokbemu Egbeda axis. Generally, we're still enjoying good traffic movement within the axis. The Anopaja, Adialu, Pako, and Goye intersection. Dokbemu under bridge to cement is looking alright as Goye intersection inwards Alaguton, Alimosho Road. Akiwowo to Moshalashi inward and outward is also good to go.
Dokbemu Bridge inward Akowonjo Road roundabout, Sele, Shobo, Kwara, Jimo, Vulcanizer, Mikom, Bakery, Ogunlano to connect Egbeda all in good shape. Return journey from Egbeda to connect Lagos Abeokuta Expressway and Dokbemu, Srifa, Oniwaya, Abotikuyo roads is very encouraging. Traffic managers are on ground doing the needful and no record of any impediment.
Immortal traffic updates. Better movement inward and outward Sabo roundabout down to Itamaga. Itamaga to connect Maya, Adamo, Immortal and Agboa is cool and calm at the moment, both inwards and outwards. The stretch of Itamaga by traffic light down to Ijede, both inwards and outward, are appreciable right now. Impediment is still negative at this moment.
Let's take a look at Victoria Island. Vehicular movement from Mikwen Bridge inward Bonny Camp roundabout is still good to go at the moment. Ahmadu Bello down to Adetokumbo, Ademola, Ajose, Adeogun. Return journey from Ligali inward Sanusi, Fafunwa is good to go. Akin Adeshola inward Law School Civic Center en route Sandfield Lekki inward Mawa is very appreciable at the moment.
The return journey from Marwa down to Lekki is good to go at the moment, but there's a slowdown in traffic approaching Lekki Phase 1 traffic light. Sandfield Civic Center down to Law School is also excellent. Akin Adeshola inwards Kilimanjaro, Kofo Abayomi down to Bonny Camp roundabout inwards Mekwen Bridge still in perfect shape. Traffic officers are very much on ground doing the needful while record of impediment is negative at the moment.
Traffic update around Ajasa Command. Traffic within Ekoro is slightly busy at intersections while traffic officers are on ground monitoring the traffic and traffic light alternating effectively.
Ilewe is okay but slow approaching junction due to traffic light alternation. Linking command through Dog Center is busy at intersections due to tricyclist activities and alternations along the corridor. Ikonla Oju is looking good but slow at Adefemi due to the alternation. Movement from Church roundabout through Oluwaga, Amule down to Megida Ayobo is also good to go. Ishefun through Marketing back to Megida Ayobo is busy due to high volume of traffic movement in at the period and is due to commercial activities within the corridor.
Upward movement back to Church roundabout is good to go down to Adefemi intersection. All other areas are looking good for now. No record of any impediment while traffic officers are on ground controlling the traffic.
Alright, that's all we have for you on the traffic update. As soon as we get more of the updates, would ensure to keep you updated. Let's go straight to today's newspaper front pages. Interesting and beautiful stories right there.
Let's take a look at the Vanguard newspaper to start this morning. On Naira devaluation, others pressure inflation rate to 22.22%.
On 10th National Assembly leadership crisis, North Central governors kick against zoning to meet Tinubu National Working Committee. And also, federal government kicks against bill to stop migration of doctors this morning. Moving on, we have Buhari should stop subsidy. Buhari should stop study leaves. Others coming from Governor Matawali.
Okay, focus on debt management. Others, Okonjo Iweala urges incoming government. As federal government kicks against bill to stop migration of doctors.
Wow. U.S. slam visa ban on unnamed Nigerians undermining democracy.
120 billion naira USSD dispute. Banks, telcos disagree on technical issues. As Buhari should stop study leaves. Others coming from Matawali.
On energy, Dangote refinery to meet 100% of Nigeria's requirement, report says.
U.S. slams visa ban on unnamed Nigerians undermining democracy.
Petrol subsidy cost could be more than 13 trillion naira, federal government admits.
Allow your successors to work as governor. As governors, Saraki, Aliyu, others tell outgoing governors.
Still on the front page of Vanguard this morning, on health, we have the World Health Organization decries global rise in anemia as 571 million women, 269 million children suffer.
On the sporting scene, sports, Tottenham way up move to Eberechi Eze.
Wow, beautiful one from the Nigerian-born striker. Let's move to the front page of Nigerian Tribune. Higher food prices push Nigeria's inflation to 22.22%.
On NAS presiding officers, North Central governors fault APC zoning template as Yari adamant as more senators pledge support. 228
buildings, 336 families affected by rainfall in Lagos. That's coming from NEMA.
Suspected terrorist blows up self to evade arrest in Kaduna State.
Resident doctors begin warning strike.
Court bars NYSC from further disclaiming Enugu governor-elect certificate.
Jubilation as Hilda ends marathon cooking, set 100-hour record, are fit to be reviewed, not yet official, Guinness World Record says.
Police quiz Seun Kuti over assault on police officer, case transferred to SCID.
IGP warns persons plotting to scuttle inauguration of new government. Manhunt launch for elements behind plots.
On 2023 polls, U.S. imposes visa restrictions on election violators.
All right, moving on to the next front page, we have The Nation. Life outside power is challenging, Ibinedion Saraki tells outgoing governors.
Assault on inspector detains Seun Kuti may undergo drug test. MBS puts April inflation rate at 22.22%.
13 trillion naira spent on subsidy in 16 years, says federal government, as Tinubu to get guide from Transition Council.
IGP warns subversive elements against plot to derail May 29, as political actors conspiring to stop inauguration of President-elect Tinubu governors.
Right on the front page of Daily Trust this morning, right at the top left corner, Buhari to governors-elect, deliver on campaign promises or be voted out.
And the resident doctors to begin 5-day warning strike tomorrow being Wednesday.
Inflation hits 22.2% in April despite monetary tightening.
And NNPC to resume oil search in Lake Chad next week, coming from Kiari. Opens shares for public next year. Our gas pipeline to connect over 11 countries, Europe.
Wow, beautiful. Moving on to the front page of The Guardian, uncertainty over $2.3 billion Siemens deal as grid collapses 99th time under President Muhammadu Buhari's regime.
Buhari Lawan hail Hilda on world record feat.
Resident doctors declare 5-day warning strike.
On assault, Kuti apologizes, gives officer 12,000 for vehicle repairs.
United States of America slams visa ban on Nigerians who undermine 2023 elections.
Government kicks against move to halt doctors' migration.
As Buhari leaves inflation at highest in 17 years.
We'll be moving on to the next newspaper front page, which is the leadership. Right on the top, we have I almost gave up 6 hours into contest, Hilda Basi.
She's a product of resilience and hard work. That's coming from our family. I give God all the glory, says excited mom. President Muhammadu Buhari, Osinbajo, others celebrate as chef. Hilda Basi eats 100 hours, makes Guinness World Record.
Avoid debts, pay salaries or fail, Okonjo Iweala tells governors. Perform or be voted out. PMB tells governors-elect, let your successors be. Saraki Aliyu Dakwambo caution.
13 days to go, threat to inauguration, perpetrators won't be spared. That's coming from the Inspector General of Police.
Insecurity, food scarcity raise inflation to 22.22%.
Federal government keeps mum as US imposes visa ban on electoral offenders.
Leadership NDLEA partner to address drug abuse.
Moving on to the front page of Daily Sun. Watch your rising debt profile, Okonjo Iweala warns governors.
US slams visa ban on election riggers. Unveil their identities, Nigerians urge.
Deliver on campaign promises or be sacked, Buhari tells governors. Says outcome of 2023 polls shows anybody can be booted out.
Nigerian chef Hilda Basi breaks Guinness World Record for cooking.
Court stops NYSC from publishing disclaimer on Enugu governors-elect discharge certificate.
Can sets agenda for Tinubu, harps on federal character principle. IGP warns saboteurs political elite against Scotland Tinubu's inauguration.
Don't meddle in your successor's affairs, Saraki Aliyu. Others counsel outgoing governors.
Assault on policeman, Fela's son handcuffed, detained, may be arraigned. 13
trillion naira spent on fuel subsidy in 16 years. That's coming from the federal government.
Let's take a look at Daily Independence. On the front page, we have Nigeria's 91.6 trillion naira debt. Okonjo Iweala worried over rising burden of debt servicing. Consigned it may eclipse recurrent expenditure investment. Advises incoming government on private investment, multilateral support.
Incoming government will build from foundation we laid, Buhari says.
Federal Executive Council okays 3.4 billion naira for plane tax lightning system for 3 airports.
Court restrains NYSC from publishing disclaimer against Enugu governor-elect.
Group castigate Senate for holding down NDDC 2023 budget.
Buhari praises Hilda Basi for placing Nigeria on global spotlight.
Incoming government will build from foundation we laid, coming from Buhari.
As US imposes visa ban on Nigerians who disrupted 2023 polls.
And the federal government approved 37 new universities days to bowing out to office. Bowing out of office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's move on to the front page of Nigeria News Direct. Tension as resident doctors embark on 5-day warning strike this Wednesday.
NSIA and NCCC signed MOU to boost Nigeria's climate action agenda.
Just as US imposes visa ban on 2023 election manipulators.
The point.
Yeah.
Interesting topics this morning, though. Right on the front page of the points on presidential inauguration, we will crush attempt to derail Nigeria's democracy, coming from the Inspector General of Police.
Nigerians' purchasing power drops further as inflation rate climbs to 22.2%.
Also, the IGP wants political actors to jettison premeditated attempts.
Driver escapes death as 40-feet container crushes car in Lagos. Wow.
Resident doctors begin 5-day warning strike on Wednesday.
UNN, Unilag shine in global varsity ranking as federal government approves 37 new private varsities.
And that is all we have for you on the newspaper front page this morning. We'll be going on a short break. Don't forget that the phone lines will be open for you to call in. But before we go, let's take a look at the top stories that we'll be discussing after the break today.
Yeah, President Muhammadu Buhari saying that he hopes many youth will follow Hilda Bass's footsteps. And Hilda also saying that she actually got tired 6 hours into the contest. She would nearly give up, but probably through resilience and hard work and stuff, she kept on pushing. And now she is now the world record holder when it comes to the longest hour someone actually uses in the kitchen. I think that's a lesson for the youth out there. Despite whatever you're doing, you shouldn't get tired or feel discouraged, even because when she started cooking, there was no much people to really cheer her on. About hours into the cooking contest, even 24 hours into the cooking contest, we didn't see celebrities trooping down there or many people, playing music and shouting. She was just there and few people cheering her on.
That's to tell you that in life, until you show that not give up spirit, you won't see anybody there. Okay, we'll also look at detained Seun Kuti may undergo drug test.
Yes, and also the resident doctors who wants to begin a 5-day warning strike. They've actually met with the federal government, the representative of the federal government since 2009 to review their salary structure every 5 years. From 2009 to 2014, it should have been reviewed and it should have been actually brought into the limelight, and it should have been done. But this is 2023. Since 2014, they've been clamoring for these stuffs. So now they want to actually go on a warning strike, which I don't think is actually a good one when it comes to the health sector.
Imagine doctors going on strike.
It's just something else, and we're even having a brain drain already in the health sector. So I think it's just from fry pan to fire, as they say.
Okay, we'll also look at NBA urges Tinubu to tackle widening brain drain.
Yeah. Well, it's not only really brain drain per se. We have a series of problems, insecurity, even infrastructure, the health issues, electricity. Like the report just saying now that the national grid has fallen now for the 99th time under Buhari's regime. So it's just like standing and
last
falling
year
every
alone
time.
is uncountable.
It's just uncountable. So there's much work to do for the incoming president like that. So by the time we come back, we'll actually take a look at these stories, and we will also you have the opportunity to call in and let us know your opinion and contributions, and also our in-house analyst will be joining us to shed more light on the headlines. Stay tuned. This is Lagos This Morning. Don't go nowhere.
We'll be right back.
All right, guys, welcome back to the program.
Lagos this morning.
So the phone lines are on. You can have the opportunity to actually call in. If you're watching us, you can click on the like button. If you've not subscribed yet as well, you can do that. Quickly, we have a good number of people watching us right now, and we're talking about President Muhammadu Buhari saying that he hopes many youth will actually follow Hilda Bassi's footsteps. I think there are some people in Nigeria right now that are holding some kind of Guinness Book of Records. They have some record right now, but we are not really looking at them as we actually looking at Hilda Bassi. There is a young boy, a 16-year-old boy, who holds the record for the longest time using to skip, all the skipping rope stuff or something, using just a leg. It was just standing on his left leg, then he skipped for so many hours, then actually broke a record. And a DJ too as well in Ondo, is it Ondo or Ekiti State? A DJ played for about 14 to 15 days, non-stop. He kept on playing for about 15 days. He has the record as well. But I don't think we are not looking at these people unlike Hilda Bassi. I'm not saying that we ought to be looking at everybody at the same time, but Nigerians now should actually find a way to keep on breaking more records, just to keep Nigeria on the spotlight in the global space as well. Even if we are not really doing well when it comes to political aspects and also stuffs, we should be doing well in some aspect as well, just like entertainment. We saw Rema last week, going to India to play. I don't think Nigerian artists really go down to that side to play or something.
All right, to shed more light on this topic, let's hear from our in-house analyst, Mr. Christian Chuku. But before he comes online, let's take a look at the feedbacks that we got from our viewers this morning.
Yeah, we have Mr. Christian Chuku on the line.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chris.
Hello?
Good morning. Yeah, thank you for joining us today on the program. Yeah, yesterday we saw Hilda Bassi breaking the world record, going up to 100 hours on a cooking competition, and so many top personnel in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, the Vice President Osinbajo, and also the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu have trooped down there. President Muhammadu Buhari saying that he hopes more youth would follow Hilda Bassi's footsteps. What do you feel? Do you actually see more youth coming up in the nearest, would I say, months or years to replicate the same thing that Hilda Bassi has done?
Okay, Nigerian youths are resilient. We are people that, despite the challenges, despite the limitations, we always try to make a difference. But I'm concerned, if you look at that Hilda Bassi, she has won other competitions before now. So that's why it's good to start early. Whatever you're doing, start early and start developing yourself and make good things for yourself. Nigerian youth were so much there. If you watch the video, many people were there. Let me say almost 1,000 young Nigerian youths were there with their phones, doing videos and everything. But I asked myself one question. Why will these people waste much time and not think about how they are going to break their own record? So I'm just like challenging the Nigerian youth. Like, it is not about chasing clout, because I see these things as chasing clout. We need to find a way that we need to develop ourselves to an extent where we can start breaking records. Somebody like you that doesn't make so much noise. You won't see on social media making noise, but these are people that know what it takes to be resilient and do something that is different. One thing they say about great people is that they don't do what every other person does. So I believe we have Nigerian youths that are very, 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 very resilient and are very creative. They are doing well and they are not recognized. I think Hilda is going to inspire a lot of people that know what they want to do more for themselves and for the country.
Okay, thank you so much on that. And also we have the assault. Seun Kuti actually slept in the police custody yesterday, and also there's a report that he might be undergoing drug tests. Probably it was being influenced by something else when he made the altercation with the police officer. What do you think? And
also, looking at that as well, there was this video that he made. We don't really know when that video was made, where he said, "I've slapped many police officers." Like, generally, what can you say about all that?
We just took a trip to Femi Shrine, that is at Agidingbe, and you see the crop of human beings lying there. there are people that are under the influence of drugs, and persons that are under influence of such particles, such things, are prone to violence, even unprovoked violence. When you do the research, we have more violence and more crime committed in areas that are drug-related areas that you see people take more of these shepe, codeine, loud and everything. You see more violence in those more criminal activities. So if they say they are going to test him for drugs, I think I've met him once, and I see that the man, I think he's on a diet, on a drug, and I will not say drug diet, but he takes all these smoke and everything.
Hello, Mr. Christian, are you there? Okay.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Christian.
Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah. Oh, and also, the NBA, the Nigerian Bar Association, has urged Tinubu to tackle the widening brain drain. What are the sectors of the economy do you think needs the most urgent attention by the president-elect? Wow.
The network.
All right, that was Mr. Christian Chukwu. We'll actually get back to him as soon as possible. The network is actually acting up. Mr. Sampson, try calling in. You can still call. You can try and call back now. Let's have your opinion and contribution.
While we are waiting for those calls, Hilda Basi has she has carved an inch for herself, and she has made a name for herself, and also made Nigeria and Nigerians proud.
Yeah.
Okay, there are 20 things that we are supposed to know about this Hilda Basi, and one of them is that her real name is Hilda Basi Effiong. She's a young Nigerian chef from Akwa Ibom State. She owns a food brand in Lagos called My Food by Hilda. Okay, she cooked for 4 days non-stop. Actually 4 days plus. Because that was 100 hours that she did there.
Yeah.
And this thing had to be that she must stand to cook. She's not permitted to sit while cooking. That was a whole lot. She's not allowed to take coffee, stimulants, or any energy drink to artificially boost her energy and bodily strength while cooking. She's allowed to eat, drink water or fruit juice, and take glucose. The cooking took place at Amore Gardens, Lekki, Lagos, Nigeria. She cooks around the clock, no sleeping, neither morning, afternoon, evening, or whatever. Hilda actually made a name for Nigeria.
We have Mr. Christian back. Hello, Mr. Christian, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, thank you for coming back. Yeah, and also I'm saying the NBA has urged Tinubu to tackle the widening brain drain in the economy. But I'm thinking, I'm putting it to you now that among the sectors of the economy, which sectors do you think needs the most urgent intervention by the president-elect?
Okay, we have we have the president-elect, but let's look for the core decision.
Okay.
They should focus on the human project, how to invest on the human infrastructure. Because if you go to various offices today, the persons are still very and these are the people piloting the activities, our activities. Imagine our former Chief Justice of the nation, that is Tanko. He went to write an exam abroad and he failed woefully. That's the Chief Justice of Nigeria, the highest post when it comes to judiciary. Somebody in that position that is a Nigerian will go to write exams abroad and he failed woefully. So be surprised of the people, the examiners. So most people in our agencies in the government are not qualified. You understand? Imagine a lawyer that called himself an INEC commissioner announcing results, and he's a barrister. INEC commissioners are professors of universities. The problem we have here is that we are not putting the round pegs in the round holes, or the square pegs in square holes. What the president needs to do is to overhaul the whole system, put the right persons in the right places. Then let's see how it goes from there, and make sure that election approach is excellent.
All right, all right. What can you say about the federal government approving 37 new private universities? For the fact that our public universities have really not been put in good shape by the federal government.
Okay, well, you want to do an investigation as a reporter in any of these places, they tell you that you should write to.
Hello? Oh wow, the network is really bad. Before we get back to Mr. Christian Juku, let's just continue with the Hilda Bassi story. We saw her yesterday. She actually broke the record after a series of resilient times from her cheering on by the people and stuff. So let's take a look at the 20 interesting facts about Hilda Bassi.
Yeah, like I said before, Hilda Bassi, whose real name is Hilda Bassi Effiong. Actually yesterday when I saw Hilda Bassi, on Sunday rather, I saw Hilda and Baci.
Yeah.
I didn't know that she is actually Nigerian. And then cooking for 100 hours. Come on, I'm a woman. I understand what it is to even stay in the kitchen for 2 hours with all the heat and all that. But thank God for the people she had beside her, her managers or her colleagues. And the guy too that stood with her,
Sonny or something.
The guy is too. The guy is just so amazing. Okay, she gets a 30 minutes break every 6 hours. She spends the 30 minutes in a medical van, which is just close by, within which she can nap, use the restroom, and also get a medical assessment or checkup by the medical team available on the spot. Whenever she cooks, she is shared to the people at the venue for free. She is not selling the food. That brings us to why a lot of people were actually there.
Exactly.
Imagine
some
cooking,
there for the food, some were there for
cooking about 100 and something dishes. I shall miss too. Honestly speaking. Okay, the current holder of the title, Hilda 6, that Hilda has broken actually, is an Indian chef, Lata Tandon, who set a Guinness World Record for cooking for 87 hours and 45 minutes non-stop in 2019. And to break the record, Hilda Bassi attempted for 96 hours, using extra 9 hours to break the world record. Actually, that was 100 hours.
100 hours, yeah, 100.
Such an amount of time cooking a marathon. She tagged the cooking project Cook a Ton, a phrase literally coined with the word marathon.
Yeah.
She appears exhausted already, but the people around her are cheering her on to boost her morale, and they are available with her as she cook 24/7, even at night. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
She actually tried.
That's a whole lot, honestly. Have you even tried cooking for an hour?
Well, I would say the longest duration that I've actually used in the kitchen cooking more than an hour. Probably, let's say 2 hours, 30 minutes maximum. That's just it.
Okay, actually she's 27 years old at that quite young age. And then her mom is also a chef. She owns a food brand called Calabar Port. Yeah.
So her mom owns Calabar Port, and she owns Food by Hilda. Wow. That's a beautiful one.
Alright, please, if you're watching this program this morning, you can do well by calling in. There is a phone number provided on the comment section that you can call us in with. Let's get to know what your opinions are, particularly on this Seun Kuti story, who turned himself on to the police station yesterday, and now we are being told that he is likely to undergo a drug test, to know if his action was influenced by something else. But then there was this video of his that he made. We don't really know when he made that video, where he said, "I've slapped many police officers," and then eventually we now saw where he actually slapped a police officer. And then his action when he sent his wife back to the car. A lot of people are saying that this is to show you that the wife doesn't have a say in that marriage. He controls her a lot. And some people are like, no, it's not like that. What do you think, you that is watching this program this morning? Please, you can do well by calling in. Let's get to know what you think about these topics. And of course, the resident doctors telling the federal what's it called? The NBA telling the government to take on the brain drain or something like that.
The brain drain is just about working on the human capital resource that we have. Aside building bridges, infrastructures as well, if you're not building your people, you end up, those bridges are something, and what's it called, would not have any meaning per se. Because if you are building inanimate things, I'm not saying it is not important, it is quite important, but if your people are not built to the standard to be able to maintain those stuffs you are building that are inanimate, then they will even end up destroying those stuffs. Just imagine the rail lines that have been, that the federal government has invested millions and billions into. Some people go there in the dead of the night, then they steal those those railway track. So if you've not actually invested in the people themselves, they will go there and destroy what you've invested in, because they will feel like this thing is not even, they don't feel connected to those things you've done. They don't feel like they own it. You have to make the people feel like, okay, you want these things, we've done it for you, so you are the owner of these things. You in this particular place would actually maintain this thing. If it spoils, then you have yourself to blame. But if they treat it as if it is for the federal government, the people will keep on seeing it like the federal government owns it and not the people. So I think to a very large extent, even the brain drain as well, they don't need to really make a law to restrict medical practitioners from traveling abroad for greener pastures. What are they going there to get? They have a stable society there. They have laws. Their laws are working there, and also they have a quite okay income. Their income there is okay for them. It's not as if there is too high inflation unlike Nigeria here. If they can make half of that money they're making over there right here in Nigeria, many of them will actually stay. But the average money, the average income that they are making there in about a month, some are not even making it here in 6 months. Despite the fact, okay, let's look at this resident doctors now. Since 2014, their salaries ought to have been reviewed and been increased. Now they want a 200% increase, because it ought to have been increased since 2019. From 2019 to 2014, that's 5 years. So by 2014, they should have increased it by 100%. So now going down again from 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 till 2019, that's another 100% increase again. So if they would get any increase now, they'll be getting about, in the next 2 years, they'll be getting 300% increase. And now you've not even increased what you ought to have increased in 2014. So many of them would be discouraged. So if they have any offer or something to go abroad to see greener pastures, where would they go? They would go. So it boils down to, and the president once said, I think a few months back, that he can't force anybody to stay in Nigeria. It's just like inconveniencing someone, and the person lives, and you're saying you can't force the person to stay. No, you actually caused it. You caused this thing. If you have put the right things in place, now we have 37 new universities. From my point of view now, I think most of the people in the public sector, they are creating private universities just to bring the students from the public universities into their own universities. It will get to a point whereby they won't even look at the public universities anymore. So now the students who are unable to afford those private universities would be left with no other choice than to even just leave.
But honestly speaking, I'm seeing 37 new private universities. Okay, now if we have more private universities, what happens to the public universities? Exactly. That means nobody will attend them, because fine, the private universities, there will be less strike, or there won't even be any strike at all. I understand too that it is a means of creating employment opportunities for young people out there. Probably if you are interested in lecturing, it's an opportunity for you to apply and then get yourself a job there as a private university lecturer. But then what happens to the public universities? The ones we have are not being properly taken care of, and now we are opening more universities, and federal governments are approving them. I don't think it's actually, even though it's good, we are encouraging education, but then I feel it's not the best way to go, because we need to invest. The fact that we need to invest in education does not mean that we should have more universities open. We need to work on the existing ones, and try to bring them up to a standard, and also to pay lecturers when they are supposed to be paid, in order not to prevent them from going on strikes. Now the government is not doing the needful, and then these people that are opening these private universities are government workers or even politicians who have made too much money, and then they want to make more money, and then one of the ways for them to keep the money coming is by opening private universities, and then the government coming to approve them to make sure that they are now government approved, and then by so doing, come on now, even the private universities, they are more expensive.
Of course, they are more expensive.
An average Nigerian can't afford the school fees there.
Yeah, we have a caller.
Mr. Samson.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Samson.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah.
You're welcome to the show, Mr. Samson. It's been a while.
Good morning. Am I clear? Am I audible?
Yes,
you're
you are
audible.
okay.
Okay, good. So, where do you want me to start from?
All right, you can start from the approval of 37 new private universities by the federal government.
Yeah, okay. Well, like the name implies, every university. I think this is a government that has, in its own, in its own way, in its own little way, yeah, it has encouraged, private investment. It's a good one. It's a good legacy to me. But my little objection is, I think the standard ought to be raised, especially in terms of facilities, in terms of accreditation, and then in terms of tuition fees. As of today, I think we have more churches than universities in Nigeria. I think we have more churches than universities in Nigeria, and it shouldn't be so. I think after factories and the next thing we should have more in Nigeria should be schools. But reverse is the case. We are in a situation whereby we have more churches and more mosques than factories and universities and combined. And that's unfortunate. But I think it's a good one. If Buhari has been able to approve 7 or is it 57 or 37 private universities, yes, it's encouraging private people to go into education. I think it's a good one. But I think it should go further by setting standards. They need to build universities that will compete with the international standards, and then the institutions, they need to be, in a way, watched. We shouldn't, and the only way government can do that is by providing basic amenities, like electricity, accessible roads to those schools, and then security. If the government can ensure they will do that, and also probably by giving them tax incentives, if government will promise them that they will do that, the tuition fee would not be as astronomical as it's worth today. Because I think Covenant University or thereabouts is the most expensive private university, if I'm not mistaken. I think private Covenant University, they pay about 1.something million per semester. That's crazy. So if the federal government can look into that, it's a good way to go. We can never complain of having too many universities in this country. We need more. We need more schools, because look at our population. Our population keeps exploding. Look at the numbers of uneducated populace. It's too much. So we need more schools here and there. It shouldn't be just university alone. I think even private secondary schools should be built, and these schools are supposed to compete with federal government schools, but the federal government must ensure that they incentivize and put those private universities on, should put them on goals, on target, and they should set good standards for them. Why for our federal government schools? I think, just of recent, the federal government just approved 1 billion fund for Ekiti universities. Now, I think we have about 4 universities. We have Ekiti State University, we have federal government university in Ekiti. I think we have about 4 universities. So there was a 1 billion debt fund program for those schools in Ekiti, and I think it's a good one. So, and I think Buhari has also been able to attend to some of the prayers of ASU, though they keep coming back. But yes, I think he has been able to attend to some of their prayers. But at the end of the day, what they really need is autonomy, and I think this is one of the promises of the president-elect. You get, So on that university, well, yeah, it's a good one. It's a welcome idea. The approval is a welcome idea. We can't say never, because as far as we are concerned, today alone, if you are taking count, I can guarantee you that today alone, 100 new churches will spring up. And you can just imagine that. And they will still get complications. And that is not what we should be having. Okay? And I think I will just chip in here. I think the churches and the mosque, I think the religious institution needs to be regulated, and I think it needs to be monitored. That's my own part. So,
All right.
okay, what else?
Okay.
On the next, what can you say about Seun Kuti being asked to undergo a drug test following what transpired between him and the police officer a few days ago?
Oh, that guy has just actually played into the lion's den. You know, he's finding himself in a very terrible position, and the police will try as much as possible to squeeze everything out of it. Now the question is, can he pass that drug test? Now if he fails, that's something else. You know, they'll try as much as possible to get so many exhibits. I am aware they went to his house to raid his house. If possible, they'll get exhibits like all these contraband drugs and all that. I'm not sure if they were able to do that, but he definitely cannot hide, you know, the drugs in his blood. And we all know that Seun takes drugs, smokes cigarette M's and all that. And if he's found culpable, this is a situation whereby he doesn't have to start pleading for, you know, for mercy in the justice. Because by all means, from all ways, he's guilty. You know, it doesn't matter if the person is found was his escort or his orderly. I think he has done something terribly wrong. The last time we had something closer to this was when I think one woman, maybe Abiola something, where I think she maltreated her orderly. But because that one is brown, I think that one is a politician, we never knew what happened. You know. But this guy is just a normal civilian. But then the fact that he's the son of Bella Kuti is a normal civilian. He's just like someone like me and you. So they will try everything possible to use him as an example. Well, I wish him the best in that, and I hope he cooperates.
Do you think his action is justifiable? Because in recent times, we've seen the actions of the police officers to Nigerian citizens. We saw a case where a police... His action is not justifiable. There's no way you want to spin it. I don't understand how you want to spin it. We all complain about the police, but let me tell you that if we don't have the police on the road, everybody might get robbed, even in the broad daylight. We understand that the police, they have their own excesses. Okay, they have the excesses. And this is why I've always, you know, suggested the idea of having a body cam. I mean, these are things that I think our government, they know what to actually apply to resolve all these things, but they just don't want to do it. I think they have been intentional about it. I mean, all police officers, especially when you're on the road, when you're on the field, you should have your body cam on. I mean, if all these things are there, they won't be able to extort people and all that, because they will have a back end team that are watching all their moves and all that. I mean, these things are there. In South Africa, I don't want to go to America. In South Africa, all police vehicles have a cam video that captures all their transitions. And then they have a body cam. Now, these things are, these are projects that the government can just probably assign to local producers. I mean, they can contract this to local producers. And we need body cams which are customized for police. These things are very, very cheap. I mean, when those things are in place, you know how many things that will be impacted. Because the government will be forced to increase our internet bandwidth. Because they will need internet to be able to monitor them. Okay, so the federal government will be forced to increase the internet bandwidth, and by that means, internet coverage will be everywhere. Okay? I mean, these are things that they need to do. So if Joe is giving a police officer and you guys want to spin it because of the excesses, no, there's no sense in that. Okay? So we are going to treat all those cases individually.
I mean, we have seen where police also have assaulted some young chaps. Okay, so I mean, the situation whereby we don't have cameras everywhere, everybody has this trust deficit. I think 2 weeks ago, the Lagos State Police PRO posted something on his handy whereby he said some guys were maltreated, I think around that Abatio Okwaba side. He brought the story of that they parked at the middle of the road, and then the police began to harass them because they were asked to park for search, but they insisted that they would park at the middle of the road to cause, traffic and all that. So in the street where there was camera, in the street where there was CCTV, those guys, all those things that forward to say, he wouldn't have even said it. All he would have just done is just bring a clip of what actually transpired in that scene, and everybody will see it. Look at the shooting going on in America. If you're following what happened yesterday, there was this shooting.
Yeah.
We saw camera, we saw cams, we saw CCTV video coverage. So the police don't have much story to tell you. They'll just cut that scenario and post it on the handle. You all know what happened. Look at what happened to AK in South Africa, that rapper that died.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody saw the lady that shot him. Immediately they were able to trace that, okay, it was someone who was related to his ex-fiancé or whatever. So because of that beef, imagine it was in Nigeria, they will come with some stories, they will now start different imagination. All of us will now say that, okay, maybe she came from the right. Maybe she came from the left. Maybe she, all those things, these things are just not there. And I know that our government, they know what to do, but because they want impunity to keep thriving, because they want corruption to keep thriving, and that is why they are not ready to implement. And that is why I said that thing on the other show you guys have on the bystand. I said, I want the 3 things that I want this incoming administration to do in the first 100 days. Those things will have a magnificent and a significant impact on this country. First of all, is to probe this Emefiele. This Emefiele that wants to run away now. It was as if I was a soothsayer when I said it. I said it about last month. Now we are hearing that he wants to run away. This man say no. They need to probe them. They need to summon them. As a matter of fact, they need to jail them. Next thing is, the incoming administration must charge all governors to install CCTV. Just like the Umayi doing in Ebonyi. Do you know that Ebonyi State now are being marginalized? Ebonyi State, those Igbos are now calling Ebonyi State a traitor. They are calling the Umayi a traitor because he has decided not to go with the background of IPOP. Because he has decided that no way, it's only in Ebonyi State that they work on Mondays now. It's only in Ebonyi State. It's only in Ebonyi State that you have CCTV coverage almost in all bus stops. They were able to arouse some people. The CCTV helped them to trace those people. But now, instead of the other states to copy, they are calling them black sheep. You see, so the incoming administration must charge all those governors. And that's why I'm not happy that the president-elect was not there yesterday. Because he should have, as a matter of fact, when they were inducting those newly governors elect, he would have just said to tone straight that, listen, guys, for security, one of the cheapest ways to solve the security is to have eyes everywhere. Because a thief, a criminal, does not like people watching him. He likes to do things when he's not watched. So when there's CCTV everywhere, you know that anywhere I do, they watch me. If I go wrong, anywhere where I go, any place where I want to hide to, they don't see me. They will stop. You get the point. So those are the things that is what we must even employ going forward. There's no way about it. We don't have a choice. If there's no camera, if there's no camera in all these places, Agora, we are not going anywhere. And for the issue of electricity, God has blessed us with abundance of sun. God has what? Blessed us with abundance of sun. So cameras that use solar, that use this thing is everywhere. Okay, it's everywhere. So we forget about this issue of that there's no electricity. There's no this. My brother, with the sunlight, we can give physical coverage for a very long period of time in a day. So I think any other thing again?
Yes, let's take a look at Hilda Bassi and the Guinness World Record that made Nigerians proud. The President Muhammadu Buhari says, I hope more youth will follow Hilda Bassi's footsteps. I also saw the Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, there on that during the cooking. What can you say? Because yesterday I did mention something that if she is being given a appointment in Nigeria, she should accept it. What do you think about that, being that she has made Nigeria and Nigerians proud?
Appointment for what? If I may ask. Appointment to do what? Is there appointment for the presidential kitchen? Yeah? Well, either party has been able to bring Nigeria back to the world map, something to be proud of. Yes, attitude is an interpretation of the Nigerian can-do spirit, our resilience, our perseverance, our tenacity, our thick skin, our die-hard spirit, and this is why this country is standing today. There are so many nations, so many Western nations, so many developed nations, they dare not experience what we are experiencing today. They will collapse. Look at France. What did they do fast? They say they want to increase my retirement age by 2 years. Look at riots everywhere. And meanwhile, that's the case in Nigeria. In Nigeria, we are cutting our age by 10 years. So that anybody that retires by 65 years, my brother, my sister, that person's real age is probably 75 years. So, listen, Nigeria has been brought to the world map once again. With the Bassi for that resilience, for a very strong will. But once again, let us now look at the key takeaways. Hilda Bassi did not start this journey today.
Yeah.
She started by planning. She started by preparing. There are so many pilot tests that she would have done at the back door. I think was it some years ago, she was the champion of jollof rice competition. So this game, it is a matter of you focusing on your strong point. So what is our key takeaway? As a nation, what is our strong point? What is this country is divided into 6 geopolitical zones, 2 major regions, north and south. And then 4 cardinals, we have north, west, east, and what? And south. So when we take a look, everybody has his own strong point, everybody has his own weakness. So we really need to focus on that. We know for north is agriculture. We know for east it is what? Trade. For south, fishing and oil. While for west, we know it is about administration, finance, and education. So it's a matter of we coming together with our strength to back each other's weaknesses where it might happen. This thing, as well as you also commented on our life, where you call that the dawn does not break, it is the dawn that breaks record. And we could see how so many youth, attached that word and they started using that word. That word became a trending word. I don't just need that from the president-elect. I need him to be able to implement these things as policies. We are too loaded to be flooded with so much poverty in this country. We are too loaded upstairs. But yeah, we are being flooded for poverty. So unfortunate. For them, we keep speaking up. We keep praying for the nation and our patriotic spirit up. Okay? I would never for once say that Nigeria is a terrible country. I will never. And I will pray that everybody listening to my voice will also, imbibe that spirit and always have to pray for this country. Yeah. And that's my take.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sampson.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sampson. We really appreciate your comment this morning. Wow. Let's take a look at some of the feedbacks that we've got this morning. We have We have Gladys Chisom first. She said, "Good morning, everyone. Good morning and thanks for joining us on the program. Majed said, good morning, my people. Good morning to you too, Majed. Hannah Bob, Gladys, our government can never do the needful. Even prayer can't solve our issue in Nigeria. Nigeria future, finally you are here. Wow, see my love. I'm happy to see you too. Good morning all. Thank you for letting me know that you were on program. I didn't receive notification. Oh, wow. We're really sorry about that. Nigeria future don't finally show. Sport Kingdom. Naso my love good day. Naso my love good day. Okay. Okay. I hope you're not jealous. Sport Kingdom. All right.
Oh yeah, interesting take from Mr. Sampson. Interesting one. But I think when it comes to the aspect of approval of 37 new private universities, a little bit diverted to religious centers as well. I believe that we have in Nigeria right now the expanse land, the land mass that we've not even touched at all. There's still more than the places that we've built houses upon. So I think instead of clamping down on religious centers, I think we should be focusing on building more industries now. Probably if we want to go into, or if we want to privatize, bring in more private investors into our education system, then there should be a particular percentage where they can get to. Probably the federal universities and the government-owned universities should be about 60% or something. Then the private should not exceed the remaining 40%, because if they exceed them, you would actually leave the student at the mercy of private universities. And if you don't regulate these people, if you can't even, to some extent, there will be an extent to which they can be regulated, unlike the universities being owned by the government. Just like saying that from Mr. Sampson, he said Covenant University pay more than $1 million per semester. But if we check what kind of facility they are using there, if they are world-class facilities and they're actually teaching their students what is not being taught in an average Nigerian university, then they can actually justify the amount of money they are collecting. So if we have this kind of universities, even though they are world-class and likes, we would have our students at the mercies of those universities. And I think there's also another thing, because even if they invest in more universities now, they invest in these universities and thousands of students graduate every year only to come into the world, into the reality of everything without any job. So what are we actually investing in? If there are some investments whereby you don't invest on some things, later in future you'd have to reinvest again. There will be problem in future. Let's say you've invested in your education sector now, you actually built universities, beautiful ones with world-class technologies, but after graduating, where would they go to? Then they go back to the street, doing something else that they don't even want to do. They can't even be relevant for themselves. So I think there should be, to some extent, as we are having the conventional normal universities whereby they teach theoretical stuff, we should be having technical schools too as well, whereby
the practical aspects.
Exactly, it will be purely practical. Once they graduate from these universities or from these technical institutions, they would be useful for themselves immediately. Just let's say we have this kind of institutions now, then our national grid is not falling every day and every night. It is just 100%. Those who would be going into stuff like welding, stuff like mechanical engineering and the likes, they have the electricity intact. Once they need the electricity for anything, those into the fashion industry as well, if they can get that, and there should be soft loans for them once they graduate out of this university. If there are soft loans for them whereby they can start their businesses, and under probably a year or two they pay back bit by bit, that would be a big support from the government. You won't be actually, many people won't graduate and start writing CV and stuff, and be looking for jobs out there. So if they're actually investing in the education sector, they should also be thinking of what the graduates will do after getting out of these universities. So aside getting, privatizing the education sector, bringing in, approving 37 universities, even those in the public universities, when they graduate, they've not even seen job. Not to talk of those in the private universities, and everybody now comes out into the real world, into the reality of things. And when you graduate, nobody's asking you, did you attended private or public university? They're just like, are you a graduate? Yes. Either you go to Benson something university, or you attended University of Lagos.
They just want to know if you are a graduate or not.
That's what they ask. And what can you do? It is not what you know anymore. Even if you have 100.00 GPA, CGPA, that is in the education, in the school setting, within the four walls of that school. Now in the reality is like, what can you do with your hands? What can you contribute? I think to some extent we'll need to be looking at, after math, what will these children fall back on? Where would they go to after the school? What's next for them? because we have more people out there than even the students in the school. We have more, and if they don't have anywhere to go to, the rate of what's it called, unemployment would keep on increasing. And when they say idle hand is the devil workshop, if you have more unemployment issues, then you will have more insecurity issues, because once these people don't have any food on their table, their mind will start thinking somewhere else. But if we have some if we have more, even if we are investing in, if we are opening up our education sector to the foreign investors as well, they should be coming in to do something like technical stuffs, because this knowledge, once you have this knowledge, nobody can take it away from you.
Honestly, establishing more universities or approving more private universities is not a bad idea. But then, after when all is said and done, what are the practical things that have been imparted into these students? Because at the end of the day, what they will remember is those practical things. The theoretical aspect might not be there anymore. Because I myself, I studied statistics in school. Most of the things that, all the statistical theory, the analysis, the mathematics and all that, they are, I can't even say I can. That's now where the issue is. I think like these people, when you teach them the technical aspect and the practical aspect, so that they can have something tangible to defend themselves with when they come out, I think that would be better off.
Yeah, there are so many mechanical engineering students now, computer science students. People claim they study something. When you only study only the theoretical aspect, then you come outside and do well and they say, okay, probably the generator is having issue, and you don't even know what is wrong with the gen. Or you can say that, okay, probably this place something is wrong with it, but you can't even solve the problem. And you've spent 6 years or even 5 years or 4 years studying that particular course. And if you put that same person, okay, let's say you have two people now in this thing, then you send someone to study mechanical engineering in a school, just like university, and you send the other person to study mechanical engineering in a mechanics shop. The one that studied it in that mechanics shop will be able to solve that problem more than that one that learned it in the theory aspect. But you see, in Nigeria, what we see as education is the spoken English, the spoken words. Okay, this theory propounded in 19 something, even before we were born. But on the other aspect, the one who know how to solve the problem practically, that's the one who has the education. That's the person who has the education. You notice so many mechanical engineers and stuff. Why do they take their cars to all these mechanic guys? If they are, theory kings, they've attended university, have MSc, but they can't even solve the problem affecting their own car, where they claim to have studied it for several years. So I think to some extent we need to be looking at the end product, the aftermath of this university. Is not about really funding them. It's just like I watched a program yesterday on RSTV. It's just like this train infrastructure that was being done. And there are some investment. It's not a one-time investment. There are some running costs that you need to consider later. Now you've built the rail track, beautiful train and the likes. But if you don't have security, if there isn't security in the land, those trains would not be able to function. So it's just as useless as anything. Now, how many trains are functioning in Nigeria now? Like fully functioning, that Nigerians are actually using it. Many people are even scared of being kidnapped, because the kidnapping case that has happened to train for the past 1 year is not even once, not even twice, not twice. Some Abuja Kaduna train attack, even the Edo State train attack as well. So who would actually want to go and risk his life to board that train? So it works together. The whole sectors of the whole part of the economy is like in one.
Okay, moving on this program, we'll be looking at Okonjo Iweala tasking the government on alternative IGR cautions against rising debt. Of course, we know that the rising debt, the Nigeria debt is on the increase.
Yeah.
Right now,
trillion.
You can imagine 77 trillion is no joke. We're not talking about million here, then are we talking about billion? This is trillions of naira. I kind of feel that, okay, this regime is fading away, the Buhari regime is passing, and then the president-elect, the inauguration is fast approaching. We have today is 16th. We have not less than how many days to go now?
About 13 days.
About 13 days to go. So what is the fate of the incoming president in actually lifting Nigeria from this debt that we are in?
Okonjo Iweala, actually, I read the report. She said she urged the incoming governors to actually publish their financial records to the state and let the people know the state, know their financial conditions and how they actually do things. She said it should be open, because She claimed that they actually did it during former President Olusegun Obasanjo's regime, then Goodluck Jonathan's regime. But since then, they've not been doing it anymore. No governor. So she's urging them to bring it back. And also for the governors too, she's saying that they should improvise. They should find a way to increase their internally generated revenue. They shouldn't just be focusing on getting money from the federal government or something. We have so many state governors that they only, majorly depend on the money they get from the top. How many of them are really thinking outside the box to explore what they have under their own soil? Then, make the lives of their people better. Why is it that once we have any problem, we don't call the state governors, we call on President Muhammadu Buhari? And also to some extent as well, there are some powers that needs to be given to the states to handle, just like policing. You can't be the governor of a particular state and you don't have power over your police there. You have to call on the Inspector General of Police. It shouldn't be that way.
So what is the Commissioner of Police doing? The
Commissioner of Police should be in charge 100% of the police in that state. You can't compare the police in the way police the kind of policing that is being done in either Nasarawa State or Bayelsa State or let's say Kogi State to compare it to Lagos State. The way they act there is very different. There might be stuff there whereby when you do it is not really seen as a big deal, unlike when you do it in another state entirely. So people there would understand each other. So I think to some extent, when it comes to policing, it should be for the state, just like we have seen in Sinai Clan, just like the US and the like. So whereby you are in charge of your state,
and all the states should be able to manage what they have. Someone actually spoke to me about the Governor Seun Kuti, the flyover constructions and all. And then when this person says this thing that I'm about to say now, I saw sense in them, and it's true, because he said, how can a state governor be applauded for working in the states? Isn't that what you are called to do? You're not supposed to be applauded, because in fact, as a matter of fact, if you're not doing the work that you're supposed to do, you should be queried for it.
Exactly.
But we are in a country like Nigeria whereby a governor does something, we clap for him. He has done well. But come on now, why are you there in the first place if not to serve the people and to make sure that you do the things that are required of you? Let's say you are a governor of a state and the state you are governing doesn't have a good road. It is in your place to fix the roads for them. And then this person took me to UK that I've not been to in real time, and said that like every 3 months in UK or 6 months, they work on the bad roads. Like the roads that are supposed to be patched, they patch them and all that. Now be like, oh, that means patching of road is not bad, but how it is being patched is now what matters.
Yeah.
So states are supposed to be responsible for what happens in their state, and not calling on the federal government for every little thing that happens, because the federal government understand that the workload is too much on them. And then the federal government, the federal governors, the state governors should take responsibility. But then we are in a country where everything we call on the federal government, everything we call on them, and then the state governors are being relaxed, and then when they manage to do anything they do, they receive upload.
Yeah. When it comes to receiving upload, I've not been a fan, never of being a fan of clapping for someone.
And then it's just like what Mr. Sampson said, the Ebonyi State Governor, David Umahi, now he puts his CTV, and now we are applauding him, he has done well. But come on, if the level of insecurity in your state calls for that, why don't you do it? So we're not supposed to say, you've done very well, because your state is facing serious insecurity challenges, and then you're doing this thing to curb the insecurity level in the state whereby you are governing. Then you've done what you're supposed to do.
Well, I actually think it's because the kind of system of government run in Nigeria has been bastardized to an extent whereby we see a little thing. When a governor does a little thing, we see it as a big deal. We kind of clap for the person because many has actually failed to carry out their responsibility. It's not even as if you have been appointed as a governor. You were elected. You came out to everyone. You convinced them that when I become president, when I become a governor, I will do this, I will do that. I would ensure I pay the youth 5,000 naira every month. I will do this. I'll fix your roads. Then you get there and start telling us something else. Then you fix a road and throw parties to commission that particular road. When you're just supposed to go there and just commission it, then have the person.
Now you not throw a party that will cost more spending.
Exactly.
And all that. Okay, now let's move away from that. Let's talk about the US slamming visa ban on election riggers or democracy violators.
I think the US slamming, they saying that, or they claiming that they have actually slammed what's it called, visa ban on those kind of people. If they are not mentioning their names, then it's just like, you know, a horse on the paper, nothing.
Nigerians are actually telling them that they should publish their names. We want to see the names of these people, not just telling us that we'll slam visa ban on them. So who are the people? Who are they?
I think by even saying that, it's like they are even parts of the whole system. It's like they are an accomplice in this whole issue, because you can't come out to say, okay, I've slammed the perpetrator of this crime, and you are not coming out to bring this person out.
But seriously, you know what I think about this when you say United States of America, like my head, like the way I calculate it. But in recent times, like I'm not saying that they are not to be respected, you know. Yeah. But then the way things, how will I put it now? The kind of things that we've been hearing from them in recent times is just, should I say, mind blowing, or is unfathomable? Because I seem not to comprehend, because like these people, and why are they doing this thing this way? Could it be that there are some people that are working with them? Because if they say they've slammed visa ban on Nigeria, no, you don't say on democracy violators or election riggers. Who are these people?
Who are those election riggers?
Who are these election riggers?
And I also think slamming visa ban on someone is because majority of our leaders have actually destroyed this country. Why should any Nigerian be so happy to go to another man's land? They've slammed the visa ban. Then why stay in your country? How many US citizens are you seeing on Nigerian streets roaming? How many do we have? How many French people? How many people from France, from the UK are we seeing on Nigerian streets? Are we slamming Nigerian visa ban on them? No.
why
should we now, deify them?
We've painted the whole place black, and now
Exactly.
we are looking for greener pasture out there. Funny enough, something happened. Someone that I know made a post on his WhatsApp yesterday. I didn't quite ask him what do you mean by this, but I got to understand that a lot of Nigerians are out there, and a Nigeria will always be a Nigeria,
of course,
no matter where you are. And you know that some of them are very, very noisy. Actually, Nigerians now, we're looking for greener pastures. We're not out there painting ourselves different colors.
Exactly.
We are not even representing ourselves well where they are. This person, like, if you enter a public place or you enter a transport, you just hear Nigerians making phone call, and they are shouting. And you see these white people, they be like, the way they'll be looking at you, will be like, call your brother to order. Why is he shouting? Those kind of thing. If our place is, if we make our place to be livable, there will be no reason going out there.
There will be no. It won't make sense to slam a visa ban on someone. You can even slam a visa ban on me like this. Where am I going to? Where am I running to? It's because, you see, when your house is in order, you won't be thinking another man's is even more better than your own. No. It's because we actually, Nigeria was not like this. As I've heard how Nigeria was in the 70s, but probably in the 60s or something, when people were even coming here in Nigeria, when Naira was stronger than dollar as at then. But like, now reverse is
that actually it sounded like fairy tale in my ear.
I swear,
was there ever a time that Naira was higher than dollar?
Exactly. There was a time that when people are schooling abroad, we send money to them. I was not alive then, but I heard the stories. We send money to them, but now reverse is the case. They send money back home, not home sending money abroad. Now it's just like those set of leaders, those set of people that have actually governed Nigeria, they've led up to this state. And now it's now looking like a big deal when they say they slam a visa ban, like don't enter our country again. Is it actually a big deal? If we look at it on the bigger picture, should it be like that? Is it right? It actually says a lot about everyone who has been in the system of governing this country for the past since 1960.
Like
it actually says a lot about them.
Like they say, Nigeria, all the sectors in Nigeria are actually working very well, except our political sector. And of course, following what happened at Amore Estate, Garden Estate, a few days ago, where Nigerians, everybody, irrespective of tribe, culture, they just came there to cheer Hilda Bassi. That's that tells a lot to tell you that it is only politics that divide Nigerians. Let's take a look at some of the feedbacks that we have here. Nigeria Future said, Flip TV is progressing technically. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice and good vision and sounds. We really appreciate this comment. To be honest, Nigeria debts will continue to increase as long as our politicians continue to receive that big money as salary and allowances. Nigeria politicians receive the highest salary in the whole world. Do you know that many Nigerians are thinking when a governor or any politician work, they They think that the
that
money comes from the pocket of those politicians. Interesting.
That's why I would never applaud anybody for working. If you are the president, then you rejuvenate all the whole country. Why I would applaud you is if you outshine your predecessor. That is the only thing that would make me applaud you. Like, okay, let's say your state or something has been in probably debt, total debt. Then you pull your state out of the debt. Then you stabilize everything. I can actually applaud you because you've outshined your predecessor. But probably your predecessor has outshined you, or you came in and even deleted the bar, not even reducing it this time around. You removed everything at all. Your state has no bar, it has no development, nothing changed. There's no way I can applaud you. Or you're still keeping the same thing. No.
I actually feel that some of these our leaders, they tend to forget the reason why they are being elected into office.
I don't think it's because they forget. I think we don't have, when these people actually get to power, before they get there, they have this kind of vision that, okay, when I get there, I'll do stuffs and stuffs. But once they see the treasury of the state or the nation, like, wow, how much do we have? We have about 100 trillion naira. Wow, beautiful. And if you take out of this money, there is no institution that would actually nail you. So they feel like they are unrestricted. They can do anything they like. So they actually explore the loopholes in the system and they steal all this money and run away with it. But when you are in a system where you know that you are answerable to some institutions that can never be compromised, or to a very large extent you can't compromise them, then you would be on a leash. You would know you have your limit. But it's just like releasing a dog. You are unleashing a dog to do anything he likes. But when it's still on that leash, like you've tied it down, you've restricted the movement. So it will actually do what you want it to do. It will be in a kind of zone whereby when you are in a station and you feel like you're answerable to someone, you won't be able to do anyhow. But when you are the all in all, you are the grand commander, and when everybody is answering to you and not the other way around, you don't have anything like a ceiling over your head, you do anyhow. So I think we should be working on our institutions. It should be stronger than the politicians. If it is the other way around, then I don't think Nigeria is even ready for anything at all. And when it comes to salary of our public servants, I think those who need to be earning most of the salaries in Nigeria are our health workers and also our soldiers out there. They really need to be earning.
The security personnel.
Our security personnel, they need to be earning so much. And our health workers too, because they are the ones really holding the lifeline of the people. If our security personnel fail today, external aggressors will actually, just come in and truncate all their efforts. And also we have our health workers working 24 hours of the day. Just working, treating people, making sure our pregnant women out there to delivering babies every day. There are some people out there just stationed in the hospitals helping these people, making sure everything is going fine. So I think the health workers need to be remunerated very well. Our security personnel as well, and our civil servants too. The last on the list should be the public servant, because you actually volunteered, you aspired to become a president or the governor. You are aspiring. It's not as if you don't have the money, or you are a pauper before you started aspiring, and you are saying, I'm going there to serve you.
And you use millions to buy the ticket.
You are saying, I'm going there to serve you people, but you go there and we are the one begging you to serve us later in the day. So it's just like, I think we should just demonetize the entire political space. Demonetize it. We should have a kind of, if there can be a decree or something, they should reduce their money to the barest minimum. It should be like the NYSC, whereby people receive. There are many coppers who are actually making 33,000 naira. How much is it? There are many coppers who actually on their own, the work they were doing before they started serving, they are making hundreds of nairas and 100,000, 200,000 and the likes. But that money they have been given to serve, 53k, is just for that service year, for your upkeep, serve and go back home. Then you for 44 years, you just give you the money to take care of your family and go back to the business you were doing. There are so many people who say, okay, there are some pensions being reserved for, humongous pensions being reserved for governors. Okay, after the life of a governor, you need to maintain their lives. Were they begging on the street before they became governor?
That's actually very funny.
They had businesses before becoming. You can't buy a form of 100 million and say you don't have money in your account or you don't have investment just for them to aspire under the party for primary election that you can still even lose. You can afford a form of 100 million and you're saying you want to collect millions and billions after retirement for serving for just 4 years, and a civil servant serving for 35 years, a soldier on the war front facing Boko Haram every day would be collecting stipend.
You'll be collecting peanuts and still be begging to be paid at the end of the month.
Exactly. Our health workers are there morning, afternoon, night.
As a matter of fact, they are threatening to go on strike now. Imagine our doctors going on strike, nurses going on strike.
And they run outside for medical checkup.
For medical checkups.
I think there should be something as well. There should be laws whereby once you become a public servant, you have to use the Nigerian
medical facilities.
You have to be treated here. I don't know if you bring a doctor into your space, into your house, but you're not going outside the country, because if you are not allowed, that's part of the restrictions I'm talking about. If they are not allowed to go out there, if they are not allowed at all, they would fix this place. Once you know that you don't have any other option, let's say your house is actually sinking now, water is coming into your home, then you don't really, if you know you don't have any other home out there, you would be forced to fix that space that you have.
All right, okay. There's this comment there. I don't know if you can see it properly because
Ola Adewale, Abi?
Yes.
Okay, Ola Adewale said, good morning, guys. Nigerian Future said, let's share this program.
Please, if you can, please do.
If you can, share it. Thank you very much. Share the program everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, and anywhere, Opera News and the likes. I think the combination of the roguery politicians and the prophetic pulpits banditry destroyed what that contraption had left.
Honestly speaking, when I saw that comment, I'm like, but this person is speaking the obvious. This is true, because most of our pulpits now has been politicized. You understand? When most of our preachers now have left this, then they are not talking. It's not bad. Politics is not bad. As a matter of fact, David in the Bible was a politician. Daniel too was a politician. But then the way politics is being played in Nigeria, and the way some of our clergymen have actually made their church to be political this thing, like everything is now politicized. That is actually where the issue the issue is. I think we'll be getting running up the program at this point.
Yeah, let's take a look at Nigeria Future's feedback. She said, I wish we can have or go back to Nigeria of 70s or 80s. Well, that's what I used to hear, that during that time when we had the regional system of government, things were flourishing, and before we discovered oil, I think the oil safe
contributed to the issues we're having.
Has it brought more harm than good to Nigeria?
I remember too in that early 80s, my daddy said something that as a graduate, if you finish school, you be given a Benz, Mercedes Benz. That time, was it Mercedes or Peugeot or something? Okay. But they will shall give you a car, and then they plus and there is an instant job waiting for you as soon as you're done. So I'm like, okay, if this thing was it that they were begging people to go to school as at that time, or maybe now everybody wants to go to school or something. If we can just, I'm not saying we should go back to that time, because I think this era is actually better because we have technology now, but then we can actually improve.
But the technology, everything we have now is like it is working against us to some extent, because we can't be growing.
We are the ones making it to work against us. These things are not meant to work against us. It is meant to improve us.
It's just a tool.
It's a tool, but we are using the tool against ourselves.
Exactly. Just like I would like to chip in the, what was it called, from the 37 new private universities privatizing. I think linking it with the refinery that will be opened this weekend, I think to some extent as well, now the people are at the mercy. The people will be at the mercy of that new refinery very soon. Just like what is now the kind of tsunami that is going into the education sector now. How can a country, a whole nation, has more than about 2 to 3 refineries, nothing's working? Then someone else come up and build a whole refinery, and the president of that country is going there to inaugurate, and we're clapping. It's just something else. But I hope and pray that as our elderly ones actually witnessed Nigeria in the 70s and the 80s, many people are saying that, many of them are saying that they wish they can actually roll back the hands of time and enjoy how it was then. I believe in the next maybe 30 to 40 years, we too would actually enjoy Nigeria. I hope so. All right, we're coming to the end of the program right now. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for being part of us. Thank you for clicking on the like button. You can also share the program. Thank you very much for sharing, Mr.
Nigeria Future.
Yeah, Nigeria Future. Share this program to all your platforms, any social media platform you have. Thank you for sharing it there. Thank you, Nigeria Future, Bella Greatness, Anna Bob,
Gladys Chisom,
as well,
and Mr. Samson that called in.
Mr.
Thank
Samson,
you so much.
also our in-house analyst, and the guy behind the camera,
Silva Millie.
Thank you for always turning up. We have a comment here right for you. Nigeria Future saying that nice and good vision and sound. Flip TV is progressing technically. You need to thank the guy behind the camera.
Yeah, kudos
Mr.
to the
Samson.
guy behind the camera.
Kudos to him for working round the clock to make sure we are being seen and heard by everyone. Thank you all for joining us on today's program. I am Olajide Taufik Olamide. Till we come your way again tomorrow for another exciting edition of Lagos This Morning.
And of course, we'll be coming back in the afternoon with this program, Web Watch. Have you forgotten that we're having Web Watch today? And of course, there are some things that we didn't discuss here. Wait for it on Web Watch. That program got you covered, trust me. And I do believe that you have the opportunity to call in as well and air your opinion on whatever issue that we will come up with. Thank you so much for being part of this program. We really appreciate you. Flip TV appreciates you as well. You can as well join us on all social media platforms. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and of course on Instagram. You can as well join me on my Instagram. I am Zubiglad.
And you can also follow me on my Twitter page. I am Olajimide. Thank you all. Bye for now.
Take care. Have a nice day.